Hi guys, today we're going to do lesson 5, which is comparing multi-digit numbers. So first we're going to start by watching the video, and I'm going to stop it throughout and explain some stuff, and then also offer problems for you guys to complete. And remember, when you see our sign that says pause now and try it on your own, make sure you pause the video and try it on your own. You're going to need your whiteboard and a marker.
Hi friends, I'm Mrs. Gradney, and today we'll be comparing multi-digit numbers. Here's what you'll need for our lesson today. Let's get started. Grab your personal whiteboard. Now let's compare two numbers. Now let's compare two numbers. Look at these two numbers. Say them out loud in standard form. 3010 and 2040. We're going to represent each of these numbers on our place value chart using place value discs. We're going to draw a horizontal line across our chart to make sure that we don't get our discs mixed up, and we'll represent the first number at the top and the second number at the bottom. So for 3010, we'll draw 3000 discs. So 1000, 2000s, 3000s, and 10 disc. Pause the video and draw place value discs now to represent 2040 at the bottom of your chart.
Make sure you pause your video and represent 2040 at the bottom of your place value chart.
Check to make sure you drew 2000s discs and 4 10s discs. Now, what is the name of the unit with the greatest value?
Remember, the unit is your place value, or the place that it's in. Which place has the greatest value?
Thousands is the unit with the greatest value. How would you compare the value of the thousands in these two numbers? Use one of these sentence frames to help you. You may have said 3000s is greater than 2000s, or you may have said 2000s is less than 3000s. Both comparisons are correct. Now, what would happen if we only compared the tens instead of the unit with the greatest value? You may have said that if we were to compare only the tens instead of the unit with the greatest value, that might make us think that 2040 is greater than 3010 because 2040 has 4 tens and 3010 only has 1 10.
This is a common misconception, and a misconception is a mistake that students often make. So you need to make sure when you're comparing place values that you start at the highest place and not at the lowest place.
But that's not correct. You may have also said that in this case, we don't even need to compare the tens because the largest unit, the thousands, is already different. So thousands is our largest unit, and 3000s is greater than 2000s. So that means 3010 is greater than 2040. When we read comparisons, we read them from left to right, just like we read a book. Let's read this comparison out loud. 3010 is greater than 2040. But guess what? There's another way we can write this comparison. What symbol would we use now? Now we use our less than symbol. Let's read this comparison out loud. 2040 is less than 3010. Let's try another one. Read these two numbers out loud.
Pause your video and read the two numbers out loud, and then put them into your place value chart in order for you to compare them.
$43,021 and $45,302. Pause the video now and draw place value discs to represent each of these numbers, just like we did last time. It's important that anytime we get a new problem in math, not just today, but always, that we don't just automatically dive in and try to start solving it, but that first we take a moment to think about what we notice about the problem. So let's do that now. How is this comparison different from our last comparison?
The advice that she just gave is great advice. A lot of students try to just jump right into the problem because they just want to solve it and get it over with. But it's very important to think about the concept behind it and the idea behind your question so that you really get your problems correct.
You may have noticed that in our last comparison, our largest unit was thousands. But in this comparison, our largest unit is 10,000. You may have also noticed that in this comparison, there's the same number for the largest unit. Both of these numbers have 4 10,000s. Well, if the digits in the largest unit are the same, then how can we compare these two numbers? When the digits in the largest unit are the same, then we look to the next largest unit, and we can compare the digits in that place. So in this case, we would look to the thousands place to compare. Pause the video now and write down the comparisons for these two numbers in 2 different ways, and whisper read those comparisons to yourself.
Make sure you pause your video and write down your comparisons 2 different ways. So you should have one with a less than symbol and one with a greater than symbol. Then read those comparisons out loud to yourself.
Hopefully you wrote 43,021 is less than 45,302, and 45,302 is greater than 43,021. Let's try another one.
We're going to try one together now. Make sure you have your whiteboard so we can do it together on our whiteboard. Together, we are going to compare 503,421 and 350,491. And we're going to draw a line in the middle of our page So the first thing we're going to do is represent each number, one above the line and one below the line, with place value desks. I'm going to start with 503,421 above the line. The first digit in this number is in the hundred thousands place. So I'm going to put my place value disks to represent 500,000. My second digit is a 0 in the 10,000s place. So I don't need to put anything into the 10,000s place. The next digit is a 3 in the thousands place, which represents 3,000s. So I'm going to put place value disks in my thousands place. Then I have a 4 in the hundreds place. So I'm going to put 4 place value disks in the hundreds place. And then a 2 in the tens place and a 1 in the ones place. My second number, 350,491, I'm going to put below my line. I have 300,000s, 5 10,000s, 0,000s, 4 hundreds, 9 tens, and 1 1. We're always going to start comparing in our highest place value unit. So our highest place value unit is going to be the hundred thousands place. Looking at our hundred thousands place, we can easily see that there are more hundred thousands in our top number than in our bottom number because 5 is greater than 3. So our answer to our equation or to our problem when we're comparing these numbers is 503,421 is greater than 350,491.
This time, we'll only use digits to represent our numbers, so make sure that the units in your place value chart are labeled. Now, so far, we've compared two numbers. How do you think it will work if we were to compare and order three numbers at a time? Would we think about it in a different way or in the same way as comparing two numbers? Let's give it a shot. Look at these three numbers. Read the numbers out loud and think about what you notice. $32,434, $32,644, and $32,534.
So in this problem, she kind of upped our rigor a little bit. So instead of using place value disks, we're going to use the digits. And instead of comparing two numbers, we're going to put three numbers in order. So follow along, take your time. We're going to pause between when I feel like we need to, but make sure if you get confused, you pause and rewind.
Pause the video and write these numbers in your place value chart.
So go ahead and do that on your own.
Whisper the value of each digit as you write it.
So here she's put her numbers into the place value chart. You can easily see which numbers we're going to compare, but she's going to walk you through it.
When you compare the value of these three numbers, what do you notice? You may have noticed that all three numbers have 3 10,000s and 2 thousands. Or you may have noticed that all three numbers have 32 thousands. The hundreds are different, so we can compare the hundreds. Pause the video and say which number has the greatest value and which number has the least value, and how you know. Hopefully you said 32,644 has the greatest value because it has the most hundreds.
So with our numbers, we took and looked at the 10,000s place first and saw that all of the 10,000s place, the digits in the 10,000s place in each number, all were the same. Then we moved over to the thousands place and noticed the same thing. All of the digits in each number are the same. So then we're going to move to the hundreds place to compare our numbers. And in this number, the middle one, that one is very clearly the greatest because there's a 6 in the hundreds place, whereas the top number has a 4 and the bottom number has a 5.
And 32,434 has the least value because it has the least number of hundreds. We're comparing the hundreds because the larger units, the 10,000s and the thousands, have the same value. We can write the comparison of 3 numbers using our comparison symbols, just like we can write the comparison of 2 numbers. Pause the video and fill in the blanks to write the numbers in order from greatest to least. Here's my comparison. Now when I'm comparing and ordering 3 or more numbers, I like to scratch them out as I write them down, like this.
This is a smart strategy because once you get to comparing or ordering 5 numbers or 4 numbers, you might get lost or confused. So make sure as soon as you've written them down, you cross them out so you don't rewrite them.
So in this case, I wrote down the number with the largest value, 32,644, and then I scratched it out. Then I wrote down the number with the next largest value, 32,534, and I scratched it out. And then that left me with the number with the least value, 32,434. That just helps me to keep track of which numbers I've compared and written down to make sure that I compare them all. Now let's read this comparison out loud. 32,644 is greater than 32,534 is greater than 32,434. How is comparing 3 numbers the same and different from comparing 2 numbers? I was thinking that no matter how many numbers we're comparing, we still start by comparing the largest unit, then the next largest unit, and so on. The thinking is the same, we just have to compare more numbers. Let's try another one. Look at these 2 numbers and think about what you notice. You probably noticed that these numbers are written in different forms. The first number is written in expanded form, and the second number is written in standard form. So then how might we compare these 2 numbers that are written in different forms? You may have thought about drawing place value discs for each number on the place value chart like we did earlier. Or maybe you thought about just recording the digits for each number on the place value chart. Another idea you may have had is to just write the numbers in the same form. Maybe write them both in standard form and compare. Pause the video to compare the 2 numbers and write the comparison in standard form.
Pause the video right now and write these 2 numbers in your place value chart. Compare them and write a sentence, a comparison sentence, using your greater than or less than symbols. And the numbers need to be in standard form. So remember, standard form is just the regular way you write a number.
You may have written 730,028 is less than 735,008, or you may have written 735,008 is greater than 730,028. Both comparisons are correct. Let's move into the problem set. Your must-do problems for the Lesson 5 problem set are on the screen. Set a timer or watch the clock for 10 minutes and work on these problems. If you finish the must-do problems before the 10 minutes are up, feel free to try any of the other problems on the problem set as well. Today, we compared multi-digit numbers. Remember to check in with your teacher, and I'll see you next time for another Eureka Math lesson. Bye!
You guys did great work today. Hopefully this video helped you work on your comparison of numbers. Make sure you do your practice problems and work really hard. If you get confused, just go back and rewatch the video. I'll see you guys later.